Russell Wilson, what is your relationship with him? Does he seek out advice from you? Do you talk to him?
He does.
Do you give unsolicited 2 cents
I
to him?
do. If I think there's something I need to tell him.
Like what? Give me can you expose for example, please?
After a game, I do every game, so I see everything that he does. So I might ask him about a certain play. I'll never criticize him, but I'll ask him, what were you thinking on that throw that you made to Jimmy Graham or whatever? Or what were you thinking on a certain route, just to see what comes out of his mind? Because quarterbacks, we don't all think the same on everything. Anything could happen within a play where you might miss a play, say, because somebody got in your vision and everybody's going, well, the guy was wide open. But sometimes there's a guy that gets in your face and you just can't see that guy was wide open, especially when you're 5'10" and a half. So I like to ask questions about what guys are seeing on certain plays and just kind of get his reaction. And we'll sit on the plane sometime and talk about different things that might have happened in a game, or I'll go over to his locker after a game. The first thing I want to know is he okay? If it was a physically tough game on him, I want to make sure he's okay and stuff like that. But I'm not a guy to be critical, but I do like to ask questions.
So are you saying that sometimes when he doesn't get the ball out on time, which has been a major criticism of him,
right.
And from what folks at the draft, I was hearing all sorts of conversations at the draft that they might go ahead and draft somebody just to fire a shot across the bow, that it is time for you to get the ball on time, just like we practice, just like the plays are drawn up, that sometimes he doesn't do that because he doesn't see that the balls
sometimes
needs
he
to be
gets
delivered?
Quick pressure. Sometimes, again, guys get in his face, and most teams know if you have a quarterback that's only 5'10" and a half, you're going to try and push a lot of pressure right up the middle of the pocket, so you do impair his vision. And sometimes he just misses some things, especially throws over the middle of the football field.
Does he need competition in there?
No. He's as competitive as can be. He really is.
What happened with Kaepernick, best you can tell, Warren?
I don't think they ever intended on signing him at all. I think they brought him in as like a fact-finding mission. They know him as well as any quarterback in the league because they played against him twice over the last, 4 or 5 years. So they know what his strengths and weaknesses are, but they didn't know him as a person. So they bring guys in just in case something happens down the road. Say if Russell gets hurt, they want to have already had a conversation with him to see what type of guy he is, because they might want to bring him in as their starter. They might not want to go with one of their backups if it was, say, an injury where Russell was going to be out for a period of time. So now they know Colin a little bit better because they spent some time with him. And if something was to happen to Russell, God forbid, they could bring him in. Just like they brought in Adrian Peterson earlier during free agency. They weren't going to sign Adrian Peterson, but now they know if they need a running back, if Adrian was available, they'd go back and get him. That's just what John Snyder does and Pete. They kind of they take advantage of every opportunity that they can, looking down the road if something might happen.
Pro Football Hall of Famer Warren Moon here in studio. So Peterson's gone off the market. Kaepernick still is not. Right. Do you think Colin Kaepernick is being blackballed in the National Football League?
No, I don't think it's blackballed, but I think there are certain teams that just won't have anything to do with him because of their stance on whatever he was doing, and they didn't maybe like the way that what he did with the kneeling of the flag. But also, I think teams just don't want to bring him in because they don't want to deal with the repercussions of all of that. And then there's a certain style of play that he's only good at, so that he can't go to every offense. Just because the Atlanta Falcons might need a backup quarterback, he's not good for the Atlanta Falcons offense. He's not that type of quarterback. So you have to look at the offense that I think he fits best into, and that's where he probably has the best chance of going. He's not a quarterback for every offense in this league.
So essentially, he's not being blackballed by an entire league, but there are some teams that are doing that.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure the Jets, for one. Woody Johnson, everybody knows about his political affiliations and that, and I don't think he would bring in a Colin Kaepernick. So there's certain owners that just won't have anything to do with him.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on radio stations across the country and audience.
If you like that video, be sure to download our app, and I'll be sure to move Week 6 games to Saturday for that wedding you have to go to.